Let's create some hi-hats with FM synthesis. The first thing we're going to add is our carrier signal and then our modulators. I want our carrier signal to be a square wave. Then I'm going to go ahead and turn up the harmonic all the way up, about 70. And then for our phase, I'm going to come over here to the right side where it's a plus and a minus and set it to 180%. So that way the phase of our signal plays in a random position, giving us a slightly different sound every time we play it back. Now I'm going to come over here to our envelope. And for the attack, I kind of want it to be a little bit slower. So I'm going to right click and hit 18. And then for the curve, I kind of want it to swoop up. And of course, I'm going to turn down the sustain all the way. And I'm going to right click the decay and set it to 500. Now we're going to work on the modulators, and I want both of them to be square waves as well. So for our first modulator, I'm going to turn up the harmonic to 23. Now I'm going to come over here to our plus and modulate the phase by turning it all the way up. And for our second modulator, I'm going to turn the harmonic to 34. Actually, no, I think I'm going to do 33, mainly because odd harmonics produce better metallic sounds. And so now I'm going to come over here to the plus of our second modulator and modulate the phase of our first modulator by turning it all the way up. And now it should sound like this. Now for the fun part, which is the effects. I added a slice EQ and did some random peaks. For the gain on these, I'm just going to turn them up by a little bit and turn the Q up all the way. The next effect that I added was a frequency shifter. So for the frequency shifter, I just turned it up by 295. I then added a distortion, turned the drive up, and then turned the mix down to around like 15 to 20%. I then added a snap heap, came in here and did some parallel processing, added a convolver and another frequency shifter, and set it to 735. And for the convolver impulse response, I just came over here to the presets, click on Space is Real, and then click on Theater Stage. Or you can just experiment with whatever impulse response you like best. I then added a gain, right click and hit -3. And then the last few things that I added here was a dynamics, turned the low threshold up a little bit, put the ratio to 2, turned the release down. Then I added a filter, made it a high pass, set the cutoff to around 4,000. And then the last thing that I added was a limiter. Then I went ahead and recorded this into a separate audio track, did a bit of a fade, consolidated the sample, then turned it up a bit, and this is our hi-hat sample. And of course you can also turn the warp off and mess with the pitch. And that's how you create a hi-hat with FM synthesis.